getting there. I need to be with you.
Yeah, definitely.
4 of us. I'm with the commission, and I'm trying to get the
The showdown is here, and no one saw it coming. We've all been guessing about it for weeks, at least in the ring. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, just hours after blowing off each other in public, took their feud from a possible fight in the ring to the airport. Let's catch up. Just a few days before this fight, Terence Crawford, who had just beaten Madrimov, had said many times that he wanted to fight Canelo Alvarez. During a recent Instagram live session with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, both Crawford and Al-Sheikh called Canelo out.
Canelo next.
Yes! Let's go! Canelo, come on!
You heard it from him?
We are ready!
Yeah, just put me in the game, coach. Just put me in the game. Canelo Crawford, the biggest fight.
Since then, Crawford hasn't said a word about the fight. He called Canelo a duck for not wanting to have a serious conversation about a possible fight. During an interview after Edgar Berlanga's most recent fight, he aimed a jab at Canelo's unwillingness to face him in the ring in what many believe could be one of the biggest fights in recent boxing history. When asked about Crawford's call-out, Canelo first shrugged it off and said, "I don't have anything to say about it."
On the internet with Turki Al-Sheikh calling you out, what's your response to Terence Crawford's call-out tonight?
No comment.
But later, when pushed further, Canelo didn't hold back. He dismissed Crawford's challenge outright, calling the welterweight champion too easy and too light for him. It was clear to Canelo that he didn't see Crawford as a real threat, which meant that fighting him wouldn't be worth his time.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say, I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you know, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him.
That should have been the end of it, but for Crawford, it was where he felt he had enough things between these two that escalated quickly when they suddenly crossed paths in the terminal. Both fighters were with their teams, but neither seemed interested in walking away, especially Crawford. Crawford, still fuming from Canelo's dismissal, allegedly confronted Canelo about the too easy comment, and things got physical almost immediately.
Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you're still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business calls.
Now all this is interesting because it was just recently that Crawford made some respectful words about Canelo in his fight against Berlanga. Canelo once again showed why he's considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He dropped Berlanga early in the fight and controlled most of the action despite Berlanga showing heart and determination to recover from the knockdown. Canelo's performance, though expected, left little doubt that he still reigned supreme in the super middleweight class. As Crawford watched from the sidelines, he couldn't help but acknowledge the Mexican champion's skill. First I went to the Canelo-Berlanga fight, and then I went to the UFC fight. Crawford said when asked about Canelo's performance, "I think Canelo put on a great performance, like he always does. Canelo was Canelo. I think Berlanga put on a tremendous show as well. He showed a lot of heart and great determination, and it made for a great fight." Crawford's praise for both fighters was a reflection of his deep respect for the sport, but it also showed his undying interest in facing Canelo. Having recently moved up to super welterweight, Crawford is eyeing Canelo as his next challenge, and according to him, he won't stop till this fight is made. The potential fight would be 2 divisions up from where Crawford currently competes, but the Omaha native seems unfazed by the size difference. His determination to fight Canelo stems from his desire to solidify his legacy in the sport.
At the end of the day, they're 2 great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically, it's a great fight. But, Canelo, he's a big dude. So I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing, to make the biggest fights and try to...
Crawford's win over Israel Madrimov marked his first distance fight in 8 years, leading some analysts to question whether his power might be waning as he moves up in weight. Madrimov, a tough and durable opponent, took Crawford the full distance, making it a competitive contest, while Crawford's power remains one of his defining qualities. The bigger question is how it will translate against someone like Canelo, who has proven time and time again that he can handle the best punches in the sport.
Of Jamel Charlo couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Jaime Munguia couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Triple G couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Kovalev couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Berlanga couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Daniel Jacobs couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Caleb Plant couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. ¿Qué Buck Crawford le va a hacer a ese tigre? Ustedes no vieron Buck Crawford versus Mastromov. What power did Buck Crawford have? Put me in the game, coach. No, you're the 15th man in the roster. You will sit in the bench. Well, you got.
Despite these concerns, Crawford is unshaken. In the same interview, he made it clear that his desire to fight Canelo hasn't wavered, and he believes it's the fight the world wants to see. I've been wanting the fight. It's a legacy fight. It's the biggest fight in boxing today. Crawford said, I feel like the fight is the last of the Mohicans. I think the fight would be massive. You've got two guys who are top 3 pound for pound going head to head together.
Like this fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. You know, we both coming in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So I think this fight will be massive.
Crawford's confidence is evident as he speaks about the potential matchup. He acknowledges that Canelo is bigger, but that doesn't scare him. In fact, it motivates him even more to take on a challenge like Canelo, which is what boxing is all about, pushing yourself to the limit and facing the toughest competition available. I know Canelo is bigger than me, but I'm up for the challenge, he continued. It's all respect, and if he does decide to come my way and we get in the ring, then it would be an electrifying fight. Of course, I'll beat him. There is no doubt in my mind that I wouldn't beat anyone I step in the ring with. His stellar career record backs Crawford's confidence, but the fight with Canelo presents a new level of difficulty. Canelo, known for his power ring IQ and experience, has beaten some of the best fighters in multiple weight divisions. Facing Crawford, who has dominated the lighter divisions, would be a clash of styles, skills, and physical attributes. For now, Canelo has not made any commitments about his next opponent. After the Berlanga fight, he mentioned that he plans to take time off with his family before deciding on his next move. This leaves the door open for a variety of options, including a potential showdown with Crawford.
Terrence, any chance your kids become UFC champions?
No.
Why not?
They don't pay you enough.
However, things are only getting interesting from here now. Berlanga may have scored what some might call a moral victory by going the distance, but for Canelo Alvarez, this was another night where his power left a lasting mark on his opponent without delivering the his fans have come to expect. This marks the 4th straight fight in which Alvarez floored his opponent, but walked away with a decision win for someone with a reputation as celebrated as Canelo's. This trend might raise some eyebrows, but the man himself isn't rattled now. What are they going to say? Canelo said post-fight with the frustration of a champion constantly questioned despite his success. I fight younger fighters. They say I fight older fighters. They always talk about my experience, my skill, my hard work, and my intelligence. Everything together makes me the best. It's almost as if Canelo has hit a point where no victory is ever enough to silence the doubters. But then again, perhaps it's not about what he's already achieved, but about what lies ahead. What the critics might say, though, is hard to ignore after his loss to Dimitri Bivol in May 2022. Canelo has faced a string of fighters who, while talented, aren't exactly on the same level. Canelo was a -1,600 favorite against Berlanga, and the talks are growing that boxing's top star needs a true challenge to restore that sense of danger and excitement to his career. And this is where Terence Crawford comes in, who sees himself as the next great challenger for Canelo Crawford, known for his precision speed and ring IQ. has likened a potential move up in weight to face Canelo to the iconic 1983 clash between Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran. Except the smaller guy wins this fight, Crawford said confidently. But before any talks of Crawford and Canelo can get serious, there's another spectacle around the air in Canelo's immediate future, a potential rematch with Dimitri Bivol, and this time the stakes could be higher than ever. Bivol, who outclasses Canelo in their first meeting despite the suspiciously close scorecards, is set to face Artur Beterbiev in a clash for the undisputed light heavyweight championship if Bivol emerges. Victorious Canelo is already eyeing the rematch, wanting redemption and the chance to become the undisputed champion in a second weight class.
Canelo had the options for rematch. He didn't use it. Now he gonna fight again against someone not for me. I don't know if he wants to fight me or not, but I'm not ready.
This is where things get truly heated. Canelo, never one to shy away from a challenge, is driven by the memory of his loss to Bivol. Nothing was right in that fight for me, Canelo has said, pointing to a left wrist injury that needed surgery after his third bout with Gennady Golovkin in September 2022. The thought of Canelo at full strength coming back to settle the score with Bivol is interesting, but it also comes with the risk of repeating history. After all, Bivol is a formidable opponent, and his first win showed how difficult he is for Canelo's aggressive style.
Is there one guy that comes to mind? Is there one person who comes to mind? No.
Bivol maybe? Just to get the rematch? Bivol maybe?
Bivol is one of the guys I have my rematch now to like I say, if he wins the...
Even if Canelo makes it to a rematch, he'd likely find himself in new territory, as the underdog Bivol is already a slight favorite against Artur Beterbiev, a fighter who boasts a 100% KO ratio and strikes fear into the hearts of his opponents. He has that ability to beat Artur Beterbiev. Canelo acknowledged Bivol's skill, but he made it clear that he's only interested in fighting Bivol, not Artur Beterbiev for him. If Bivol falls short in the October showdown, the idea of a rematch might evaporate, yet even if Bivol wins, there's another possible obstacle: the weight class. Canelo wants a rematch at 175 pounds, the weight class in which Bivol previously bested him, but Bivol, confident after already proving he can beat Canelo at light heavyweight, has expressed interest in a rematch at 168 pounds, where Canelo holds the undisputed super middleweight title. The weight debate is significant. It might seem trivial to casual fans, but for fighters at this level, those extra pounds can make all the difference. Canelo, though, has leverage. He represents the biggest payday Bivol could get, which might just push the Russian champion to accept the rematch on Canelo's terms. Meanwhile, another name keeps popping up that Canelo seems uninterested in entertaining: David Benavidez. The young, hungry Mexican-American fighter has long been campaigning for a shot at Canelo, calling him out repeatedly in hopes of forcing a bout, but despite Benavidez' strong showing against Alexander Gvozdyk, though in a less than impressive performance due to a hand ligament injury, Canelo remains indifferent. He's fighting in his weight class 175, and he doesn't look like he always looks, because it's different when you're fighting in your weight class. Canelo said dismissively, "The door seems closed on a Benavidez-Canelo clash, at least for now." However, there's another wild card in this deck. Crawford, the 37-year-old former undisputed welterweight champion, made his debut at 154 pounds recently, eking out a decision against Israel Madrimov, a tricky boxer who many felt was underrated despite not looking strong. Crawford stays as confident as ever, eyeing Canelo as his next big challenge. The weight difference is worrying here. Crawford has never fought above 154 pounds, while Canelo has been fighting at 168 or higher for years, yet Crawford seems unshaken by the size disparity, confident that his skill set can beat Canelo's physical advantages. "Being bigger doesn't win fights," Crawford said, a line that reflects his entire career, where he's consistently defied the odds. A fight between Canelo and Crawford would be massive, arguably the biggest non-heavyweight bout in boxing today. The commercial appeal is undeniable, with fans clamoring for a showdown between two of the sport's best. Crawford, despite being smaller, believes this is a legacy-defining fight that he can win. "I feel like it's a heritage fight, and I believe I can actually win it," Crawford said, and his track record supports the idea of Crawford stepping up to weight classes to challenge Canelo, which is the kind of blockbuster that could shake the boxing world. For Canelo, the thought of fighting Crawford offers intrigue. He's an established star, but as Canelo himself pointed out, if I beat him, nobody's going to say, "Oh, he beat Crawford," because Canelo's a talented fighter. He's a pound-for-pound outstanding too, but he's smaller. Canelo's motivation isn't purely about legacy at this point. It's about the payday, the excitement, and perhaps a final chapter to his storied career. If the money's right, why not at this point in my career? Canelo acknowledged the inevitability of taking fights that make financial sense as well as competitive sense. However, Crawford has acknowledged that if the height happens, the only thing to worry about is Canelo's power and size, but even with that, he doesn't seem intimidated, suggesting that his superior reach and speed could compensate for those differences. However, Canelo's visible irritation over the repeated questions about this matchup indicates that he may be growing exhausted of Crawford's relentless chase. The Mexican star has already set his price for the fight at a staggering $150 million, and Crawford seems unwilling to back down even though the chances of the bout happening are slim. Canelo's reaction to Crawford's pursuit has been straightforward. The $150 million asking price is a clear sign of how highly he values himself in this potential fight, and he's not going to take the bait unless the terms are just right. Canelo is at the top of his game, and his record speaks for itself. His dominance in multiple weight classes, combined with his ferocious power, makes him a feared opponent for anyone, let alone a fighter like Crawford, who is naturally smaller. Crawford's claim that he only needs to worry about Canelo's power and size feels overly simplistic, as if ignoring the layers of danger Canelo presents inside the ring. Canelo, after all, has been a wrecking ball bulldozing opponent who came in with similar confidence. Crawford's speed and reach might give him some benefits, but they would likely be dwarfed by Carlos's tactical brilliance and ability to change mid-fight. Crawford's confidence, however, stems from his own impeccable record with 41 wins and no losses, including 31 knockouts. He's proven time and again that he belongs among the best in boxing. His willingness to face bigger fighters is well documented, and he seems genuinely unafraid of stepping up to face the bigger Canelo. He's fought larger opponents before, and this experience, Crawford argues, equips him to handle whatever Canelo brings to the table. But there's a growing sentiment among boxing fans and analysts that Crawford is biting off more than he can chew. Sure, he's fought bigger guys, but Canelo isn't just a bigger guy. He's a fighter whose combination of power technique and experience could present problems. Crawford has never encountered Crawford's dogged determination to land this fight with Canelo, which has led to accusations that he's simply chasing a massive payday before retirement. Some see this as a lazy move, particularly when there are plenty of top-tier fighters at 154 and 147 pounds for him to face, rather than fighting the best in those weight classes and building a legacy through hard work and grit. Critics argue Crawford is looking for a shortcut to a massive paycheck, and it's difficult to completely dismiss that notion. The payday would be astronomical, and for a fighter nearing the twilight of his career, it's understandable why Crawford would want a financial windfall to cap off his journey, but the optics aren't great, and many fans are beginning to tire of his relentless campaigning for a fight that feels increasingly unlikely to materialize despite all the noise surrounding the potential fight. Crawford has expressed his belief that a showdown between him and Canelo would be massive. He sees it as the biggest fight in boxing, pitting two of the top 3 pound-for-pound fighters against each other. On paper, it certainly sounds like an enticing matchup. The smaller, the faster. Crawford versus the bigger, more powerful Canelo. It's a classic David versus Goliath plot that has always intrigued boxing fans, but it's difficult to shake the feeling that this fight is more about the spectacle than the sport. The question remains, does Crawford truly believe he can beat Canelo? Or is this all just a means to secure that one massive payday for Canelo? The idea of fighting Crawford may feel like a step backward. He's already conquered divisions, fought the best, and established himself as one of the biggest names in the sport. Facing Crawford, while lucrative, might not offer much in terms of legacy. Canelo has always seemed more interested in challenges that push him, whether it's moving up in weight or taking on dangerous opponents like Dimitri Bivol or Caleb Plant. Fighting Crawford, a naturally smaller opponent, could be seen as a mismatch, and Canelo might worry that even if he wins, the victory wouldn't hold the same weight as some of his other achievements. Well, what do you think about all this? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more info. See you in the next one.